Okay, I hope this is working because I am not in Wi-Fi. And sometimes I do record these and it doesn't work. So the question I get, I literally got this maybe 10 times in the past month. I can get it 3 times a week. And it is, what assignment contract do I use, right? And this is somebody who found me online and probably comes from other gurus who told them you need to bring an assignment contract to a seller. So first let's talk about New York. In New York, you do not prepare a contract. The seller's attorney prepares a contract. So I go to meet a seller, I give them an offer. The seller says yes. The next step is for them to get their attorney to prepare a contract. The question I always get is, what if they don't have an attorney? So then I recommend an attorney. Somebody just asked me today for an attorney, I recommended an attorney. So the attorney will prepare the contract. You do not need to know anything about a contract in New York because of this thing called attorneys that really run the transaction in New York. Now, outside of New York, this is something people are so worried about. Because you can look up anybody. There's so many available. So if you want to be super careful, I guess you can call up any title company that you plan on using and saying, what contract do I use, right? You want to use a contract that's assignable. Now, what people don't know is that most contracts, if a contract does not say it's not assignable, it is assignable. So in New York, of course, the most messed up state in the country, Clause 26 says no assignability, and you have to get that crossed out if you want the contract assignable. Now, in other states, you can really use almost any contract. So if you want a standard contract, a one-pager, I can send it to you. If you want, you can comment below and say contract with your email address, and I'm happy to send it to you. I don't care. It's a one-pager that I've used in other states. It works. It's legally binding, whatever the hell it's worth. And again, every state has got different rules about whether the EMD, the earnest money deposit given at contract, has to be actually deposited or whether it does not have to be. In some states, if you don't deposit it, it's an issue. In some states, it doesn't matter. There are guys I know who in states where it's required, they get the seller to sign something that says that even if they don't deposit the EMD, it's still enforceable contract. Again, you should call title companies in whatever area you want to operate. Assuming it's not New York, because New York, I can tell you right away. But you call a title company in that area and say, hey, do you have a Jesus Christ. Do you have a standard contract I can use? A copy of that. Does the EMD have to be deposited? Does it matter? Is it not enforceable if the seller signs the contract but never deposits my check for $50? Doesn't make a difference. These are questions you need to ask, and they're different in every state. I wish that I could answer it, when I only used to know about New York, it was like, yeah, you got to give a lot of money, and they have to deposit it. And in New York, it's clear that if the EMD funds bounce, then the contract's not considered valid, right? Which has happened to me. It's happened. Guys wrote a check, he screwed up, he sent it from the wrong account. So technically, warning contract, they sent me a new check. But you need to find out what's specific in your state. These are people ask me general questions. It's different in every state. I'm sure there are plenty of states where you don't need any EMD. You don't need a deposit at all, So there is supposed to be some kind of consideration. Right? Consideration is something you pay for the ability to be locked up for somebody to have to sell you the house. But again, every state is different. You need to ask somebody in your state. I wouldn't call a attorney. I'd call a title company, and I'd say, just curious of how this works. Again, and I've tried this in certain states. I'm trying to do business in Texas and El Paso. And I'm doing business in El Paso now, but it's not so easy to get a straight answer. So I'm making that sound simple. If you need help, I can probably help you with someone in a certain area if you need someone. But I can't guarantee that you're going to speak to the person that's going to be able to answer your question, because sometimes you get somebody who just doesn't know anything and they never call you back. But that's what I would do. I would call. I'd be consistent if you're persistent. If you keep calling, it's sort of like dealing with sellers. You're going to have to be consistent, persistent. You have to keep calling them. And sometimes to get answers about state-specific title questions, you got to be consistent and persistent and keep calling them. But there is no magic contract. In New York, you don't have to worry about a contract at all because the seller's attorney is going to prepare it. In other places, that's just the way it is. So, I could probably talk more about this for an hour, but I'm in the middle of a conference in Texas, and that's basically what I got. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com or learntoflipandwholesale.com. That's learntoflipandwholesale.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help the algorithm. A lot more people will see my videos, so I thank everyone who has Thank you for clicking thumbs up and liking my videos, and a lot more people have been seeing my videos because of that. So keep that coming. I post 5 times a week. This came from a question, and I need questions. I need you to keep asking me questions because I don't know what the hell to talk about on these things. I've done about 1,000 of these videos, and I am losing my marbles thinking about what to answer. So your questions, the whole point of this channel is to answer your questions and help you. So ask the questions. Your question does not have to be about the video you're watching at all. It can be about anything. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something that I've covered recently, I'll send you a link to a video on that video. And if I'll send you a link to a video when I respond. And if it's something I haven't covered in a while or I've never covered, I will do a brand new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it.